Well, we can't talk about Trump without talking about Adam Schiff. And Adam Schiff went on The View, and he talked to Joy Behar. So do I even have to lead it with anything other than that?
They're going to be blocking Biden's agenda, investigating his family and his cabinet, Hunter Biden's laptop. They promised to kick you off the House Intelligence Committee. What are you going to do about that?
Well, in terms of my service on the Intelligence Committee, this was one of the promises I think Kevin McCarthy gave, one of the great many and growing list, to try to placate the hardliners like Marjorie Taylor Greene and get their support. But there are much bigger concerns, frankly, I have with what they will do.
Karol, is McCarthy showing up on these shows, particularly The View, which has become a complete caricature of what Barbara Walters, who just passed away, wanted to create, 20 years ago? Is that just a perfect example of what sort of the swamp and the machine and the monster is? These people who lie about everything, never get fired, never get called out. All of the stuff, it just endlessly happens over and over. And usually they actually just get promotions out of it or better TV gigs.
So you said McCarthy, but I'm sure you mean Schiff.
Oh, I'm sorry, Schiff.
Yeah. So yeah. I just want to know.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe that might have been a very odd.
That question got really interesting with the McCarthy.
Yeah. Although that would be interesting, right? Of course it is. Of course, Schiff is just part of the absolute swampiest swamp. But he says that like MTG wants to get rid of him. And I want to know which Republican wants to keep Schiff. Like, who is the Republican who would like to have him stay on? So the idea that it's some hardliners who are anti him, like, no, that's a pretty all around idea that we all share. That Schiff is just the absolute worst, and that he's reduced to talking on The View about his plans and how much he hates various Republicans.
Buck, do you think it's a good idea? So assuming that it is McCarthy, or one way or another, the Republicans are going to get this thing and it's not going to be Hakeem Jeffries. Do you like the idea of just opening up investigations into everything? Do you think that's what people want, whether it's COVID or whether it's looking into the January 6th commission or any of all the nonsense they've put us through? Is that the best use of their time, or would you rather them go in another direction?
It's the thing that they do that they can do. It's not going to make very much difference. The Benghazi effect, I think, is where this becomes most apparent. The Benghazi hearings, look, once Barack Obama won re-election, the idea that there was going to be accountability for Benghazi to anybody who understands the bureaucracy, I mean, I come out of the CIA, right, was laughable. It was just not going to happen. There was just no way. Because what happens when you look at a failure like that, you have all these different people who just point the fingers at 100 other people, and no one's really responsible for anything, right? The only accountability comes for the person at the top, whether the State Department or the president, and that didn't happen. So it was great for people to audition for cable news shows after they finished their congressional terms, but it had no actual effect whatsoever. I think that you are likely to see some of these investigations. The one where I would say it's different, because we really do need the information, more information, is on anything COVID and vaccine related, on that data internally, because that fight, as we all know, is still going on to convince more people of how wrong the Fauci Democrat side was on this, and also how dishonest they were. So I'm in favor of getting that information out there.
If you'd like more sane takes on our insane world, check out our direct message clips playlist. And if you want to watch more full episodes of our live roundtables, watch our roundtables playlist. They're both right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.